Okay, so here we are for Starfish at Night by Anne Crosby Godet. And this one is found in the Royal Conservatory of Music Prep B repertoire on page 5. The first line, there are two things that you need to be able to do. The first is finding the lowest C and playing it as quietly as possible with your damper pedal down. Now that's off screen, but that is the C above the lowest note being an A. Okay, so there's our C. The second trick to this line is that black key glissando. So starting on the C sharp, which I do a glissando with the back of my hand. You can do the back of your hand or you could do the front of your hand. So from the back, C sharp, you play it loudly and across. Now, when I say the C sharp is loudly, I don't mean that the C sharp is going to be forte, and this is a big forte glissando. You're still in a pianissimo section, but you need to make sure that C sharp is audible as the start of your gliss. Okay? Now, for the second section, that's roughly bar 5 to bar 12. And we have some repeating chunks, and we do this 2 bars at a time. So first, bar 5 and 6. We are reading now in 2 treble clefs, so that's a little bit challenging. So if we take the left hand and we imagine we're in treble clef now, so that bar 6 left hand note is middle C, which means in bar 5 we're reading E, D, E, C. Okay? E, D, E, C. Our right hand is playing on the black keys. We could read this in treble clef. Ignore the sharps for a moment. We have F, G, A. But they're all sharp. So we're going to take this and we're going to raise it. Look at that. It coincides with a 3 black key group. If we put those together, we get E, D, E. And that C is going to play with the start of our 3 black key group on that F sharp. You can play that a few times, get used to it. And notice this section is mezzo forte, so we're going to give it a little more oomph than we had before in terms of sound. Now, once we've got that down, we take a look at bar 7 and 8. Again, still in the treble clef. So this is a little bit tricky because you can see we've jumped higher. So if we were landmarking off that middle C in bar 6, in bar 8, we're up in treble C over here. And that bar 7 is actually this treble E. Wait a second, that sounds really familiar. So bar 5 and 6. And now bar 7 and 8. So we've just octave jumped that. So our right hand in bar 6 was doing this. Now our right hand in bar 8, same thing, an octave higher. So bar 7 and 8 go like this. E, D, E, C. So if we put those 4 bars together, we start down here, and then we jump up here. So we just want to get used to jumping back and forth, back, forth, back, and forth. You could even try and play them together. Notice you're on C, D, E here, and the 3 black key group here. Ooh, how strange and mystical together. So here are the 4 bars. not too bad once we understand where our hands need to be and what it is that we're playing. And then the fact that we octave jump to do the same thing an octave higher. Now in bar 9, we're going to jump back down. But something's changed here. It almost looks the same. We have that EDE in bar 9. But what is going on in bar 10? That's not the C anymore. That's got an extra ledger line. So there's our C for our first ledger line. We're going to skip down to the next ledger line below and raise it to the sharp. Ooh. So this is E, D, E, A sharp. But our right hand is absolutely doing the same thing. Those are the same notes we had before. F sharp, G sharp, A sharp. Played together, same rhythm. Almost the same finger patterns. We've got this. And if you already guessed that for bar 11 and 12, we're doing the same thing an octave higher, you would be right. So we jump up and we make sure we're on that A sharp with our fourth finger. So if we play those 4 bars together from bar 9 to bar 12, it sounds like this. And now if we do the whole section together, that's bar 5 to bar 12. We're going to start in that same position, but our third finger is sitting on the C. And remember, eventually our fourth finger is going to go to the A sharp. Here we go. So that's the next chunk. So we're 2 chunks down. We have 2 more to go. Our next section is actually just from bar 13 through to bar 15. And it's a repeating pattern of arm crossovers. What's happening is our right hand is playing A sharps and F sharps. Those are the 2 outside keys in the 3 black key group, up at the top where we just finished. So we're already in position. And actually, we just finished up here with our right hand. And what's happening now, that thumb on our E is actually going to become a second finger. So we're going A sharp, F sharp, E, C. That's the core of our pattern. We're going to repeat it 3 times in octave jumps and end with a final A sharp. So here's octave 1. Now we're going to arm crossover to do the A sharp, F sharp, and bring this hand under for our EC. Arm crossover again, A sharp, F sharp, arm under for E and C, and one final crossover to hit that low A sharp with a 2. So here's our core, and we're repeating over 3 octaves, over and over. Played to speed. When you're first learning that, you're not going to play it at that speed. You're going to take it nice and slow. Find your hand position. Do it an octave at a time. If the arm crossovers make this confusing, jump at first. jump again. And a final jump. Then introduce the crossover. So that's chunk 3. Our final chunk, last 3 bars. They're very familiar. They actually take the first line and reverse it, but with only one glissando. So we're going to start on that C sharp, do our glissandi, and come in for that final deep, deep bass C. We're going to release the C and release the pedal to end the song. Nice and fade out with that pedal. Okay, so slow release. Hopefully that helps. Remember that you're looking at a piece that has multiple chunks. Bar 1 to 4, chunk 1. You could even break that down into 2 separate chunks for the glissando and the low C. But I think it makes more sense for line 1 to be 1 chunk. Then chunk 2 is bars 5 to 12, though again, you can break that down into smaller chunks. Chunk 3, bars 13 to 15 for those octave arm crossovers. And chunk 4, the last 3 bars to finish off the song.